Hey, what up YouTube? Today on my RC channel, we're gonna talk about Big Daddy. I'm gonna be installing the rear lockout to get this truck ready to race against the Axial smt10 grave digger monster truck. Project Big Daddy is a Thundertech Racing Rage Pro chassis with Traxxas GTR shocks and 7-turn Rudog brushless motors, all ran on 2S through HobbyWing ESCs. With a wide offset of the RC 4-wheel drive clodbuster style wheels, it was a little hard on the steering servo that I had for the 4-wheel steering on the back axle and ended up breaking that servo. So I'm just going to lock it out, and it should make the truck more stable to race anyways. Something else to note is that these 7-turn brushless Rudog motors are a little bit too much for the HobbyWing Justock ESCs in this truck, at least with a single battery pack. It might have been better with 2 packs, because I think when the battery was getting low, they started to amp out. And you'll see the truck just kind of pause, and it takes a minute for it to start going again. So, better ESCs might be in order. I think I might go back to a brush system in this truck, but that would definitely be for a later episode. Alright, well this Axial smt10 performed pretty good. However, we did have a mechanical failure of sorts. Not even of sorts, just straight up. I broke one of the lower control arms, probably because I was just jumping onto the hill climb across the ravine, and it snapped this trailing arm. It actually pushed the shock all the way through. I had it super glued because I wanted to do a little photo session. I got these aluminum arms. They're actually for a Yeti, front and rear, like 18 bucks a set. So I'm gonna give those a try. They're machined out pretty good. Wonder if these things are gonna live. Well, they are definitely the same length and thickness, and all the holes are in the same places. These are actually a pretty faithful reproduction, just in aluminum. Nice machine, tumbled and then anodized with pressed in metal hind joints. This truck's gonna be racing Big Daddy tomorrow, so I'm gonna put a 10-turn brushless motor in it. With both of these trucks ready to go, it's time to see if this lightweight Axial smt10 can take out this heavyweight mod motor monster, Clod Buster, the Thundertech Rage Pro chassis Big Daddy. For this first race, we've got Amber BB in the Gravedigger in the left lane and Chester Whiting in the Big Daddy in the right lane. Will she be able to take this guy out? We'll see. These two drivers and trucks are running neck and neck as they finish out the first lap. These two trucks are coming down the back straight side by side as they come into turn 1, turn 2, and turn 3. For the first 4 races, we're going to be running the trucks in their own lanes, lane left and lane right. For the last 2 races, we're going to be running the trucks side by side and run the entire course as one. Big Daddy weighing in at 9 pounds 16 ounces in the Gravedigger Axial smt10 turn mod truck weighing in at 7 pounds 7.2 ounces. That Rage Pro chassis low center of gravity, keeping this truck planted all the way around the track through these corners, and if you notice when it gets on the brakes hard, it does a little nose wheelie, but with the locked rear differential, that was the best way to get that truck to turn. And the first W of the day goes to Amber BB driving the Axial Grave Digger. The 10.5 turn censored brushless motor I installed into this Axial smt10 sure livened this truck up over the stock 12 turn brushed motor. It's also important to remember that this Axial is box stock with the exception of that 10.5 turn brushless. Comparing the Axial smt10 solid axle monster truck with drive shafts is to the Clodbuster is kind of like comparing apples to oranges being that the Clodbuster is solid axle, but it's motor on axle and does not have drive shafts, and has 2 motors instead of 1, but it's much heavier, and that is shown in some of the cornering there. Dual motor trucks like the Clodbuster have 1 motor, or oftentimes have 1 motor that turns backwards, which means that you can't run censored in this truck. You have to run sensorless, which does cause it to cog a little bit. In the Axial smt10, the motor turns the correct direction, so you're able to use pretty much any ESC and motor in it, but you can also use the timing features and turbo on the ESCs if it's available. Chester W and that Big Daddy picked up that W number 2 for the day. And we are coming into race 3 with Amber BB getting that whole shot with a Gravedigger truck. Amber BB is holding on to that lead as they come out of turn 4 and around to the start line. Big Daddy's kicking up a big old roost, stretching the legs of those 7-turn motors, trying to reel in Amber in that Gravedigger truck. Her smooth and patient driving style is really paying off as she navigates those turns in that 7-pound but top-heavy Gravedigger truck. A full half lap ahead now. It would take pretty much a disaster out of Amber to be able to catch up with Big Daddy. That third W going to Amber BB and the Gravedigger. For the next race, Amber BB is going to be piloting Big Daddy around this track, and Chester W is going to be driving the Gravedigger. And Chester's going to be losing a lot of time with that rollover. Meanwhile, Amber is precisely driving that truck around this track and being very careful not to make any mistakes. Remember, boys and girls, RC racing, slow is fast, patience wins races. Oh, and a wide turn out of Amber, and the Big Daddy in turn 3 allows Gravedigger to catch some time to catch up. Amber barely holding that lead as he comes down the back straight around turn 1. Oh, and Chester fumbles that Gravedigger truck again, losing tons of time. Amber having a significant lead as Gravedigger still struggles to negotiate those turns as Amber's coming onto the back straight. Amber bringing home that third W and bringing Big Daddy his second W for the race. Switching up drivers with these trucks is a good way to show how your driving style is way more important than the equipment. As you can see, I'm still struggling to negotiate this course with the Gravedigger truck, and Amber's smooth style is still just coming out on top almost every time. Although I finally caught up to Amber, a loose wheel nut caused this truck to have only 2-wheel drive for the remainder of our races here, not realizing that allowed the hex to be stripped out of the wheel. But we still had a ton of fun and was able to compare these trucks to each other. Both of these trucks are just being run as built, with neither one of them really being tuned for courses. Hopefully in the next video we'll find some time to actually tune these trucks to drive at their best. Oh, and it looks like Chester wrapped up this race by bringing home the W and giving another one to the SM10 turn mod truck. For the last 2 races, we're going to be using both lanes and send both trucks side by side around this entire course. Both of these trucks use up a lot of space and have open wheels, so you know this is bound to be exciting. You can tell that's Chester W driving that Big Daddy because he got lost around them cones. Oh, and Amber gets a little bit nervous and bobbles down the straight and around turn 1 of left lane, allowing Big Daddy to gain that lead. But Amber is slicing and dicing with that Gravedigger truck against this heavyweight Big Daddy Clodbuster. Oh, and Big Daddy takes out Amber's truck in the last turn, but is being a good sportsman and hanging and waiting for her to get flipped back over. That incident allowing Amber to take a clean finish on that race and take home that other W. She now is up to 4 W's and Chester is only up to 2 with that smt10 turn mod truck having 4 W's and Big Daddy only having 2. Let's see how the rest of this race plays out. And Chester and Big Daddy have the lead as we come into turn 2 on the left lane, but Amber is putting the pressure on. And it looks like this finale race is going to end in a tie, with each of us winning 1 race. But Amber BB is the overall winner with her 4 W's. It also looks like the Gravedigger pulled home 4 W's and Big Daddy only brought home 2. We'll see what happens in the next couple of rounds when we actually tune these trucks to fit their course. Maybe even gear them up. Both trucks came off the course with dead cold motion even after this race. Hope you guys enjoyed that video. Have a good weekend. Peace.